Decision time in the esports stadium here in Arlington. This is the home of esports now in Dallas. A lovely facility built just for this. Obviously, Tommy loves it because they've got some Tesla chargers out front, and that's probably why he agreed to do this event, if I'm honest. We are underwater. That's James.
That is James behind us. That's not bad, is it? We've got Bart off cam. He's always here, ever present. I didn't realize we were in a tank.
Actually.
Yeah, that's not bad. There it is.
It's a good thing I can hold my breath for like an entire map because we are in the last one of this series. The 9th round's done. Astralis is in their 20-minute huddle, so we'll give them a moment to get through it. Nonetheless, it's Inferno to decide who goes to the finals.
It is, and like we said at the beginning of this matchup that Astralis are one of the best teams to watch in Inferno right now, but NIP, they seem to have a solid game plan. Their players are turning up. There was an impressive performance on Train. Need to see more of that, but I feel like this might be the end of the line because Inferno and Astralis is just a little bit too powerful at the moment. There's Astralis getting it done with the huddle as usual. Every map, every single time, they'll try and keep the energy high, even though they just lost them out, they'll be feeling good about this one. You can see the smiles there. They're always such a positive team in that respect, and that's something they've really worked on the last couple of years.
Boost each other up, build things as they are. It's the CT side for Astralis. They did win the 9th round, so see how that transpires. We know that they're also pretty aggressive in the way that they position themselves with the op on this map. We also know that nade damage in Banana is incredibly potent for them on this particular.
It absolutely is. The Banana area is what Astralis really started the trend of the double Molotov, the triple grenades, all that sort of thing. Every team does it now. As this team, they really formulated that idea and brought it to life and made it such a prevalent option for the CTs. As we look to have NIP starting on the T side here, but looks things, we're going to have the pistol round starting very shortly. PD-50, one smoke, a flashbang, and it's going to be in the hands of Lecro. All that kits is a CZ for Magisk and a smoke as well.
He's got the only smoke. I'd say it's in then Zipix makes me a liar. He's purchased one as well, so there's 2 smokes now for the CTs to try and utilize. Single smoke, NIP. Perhaps indicative that Banana and B, more likely the place to use it. A single smoke on A doesn't really do as much. You can post plant maybe library, but
yeah, that's it. Make some noise. It's the 3rd and final map. Looking for the place in the grand final. Could be NIP upsetting Astralis here. We will see, but the T side start doesn't bode too well. Either way, it's out to Dupree now, looking towards second middle when Mage is pushing the apartments with that CZ. Nails the first headshot and a second, gets the bomb down. Dupree looking to back him up, but the job's been done really. They don't have to overcommit to this, but Mages, he wants a bit more of this action. He might just get it, but Dennis will finally silence him, and it goes to a 4-on-3. Bomb still down though, as he knows Dupree is lurking somewhere.
Dennis just sitting back to see if anyone's going to push out and try and babysit that bomb. Great shot from Glaive, jumping around the corner as he reloads. It's Lecro though that gets the better of him and gives a better chance of pulling back the round as they've picked up the bomb. It's in long rotation, alt middle even, crossing the bridge to try and get back to Lecro. And unfortunately in that time, Lecro's also had company arrive. Little does he know towards CT, which is going to be boosted up at Zipix and Dupree. Dennis clears out middle. I think he might have been spotted at that as well, by device even, but the boost works perfectly as Zipix gets 1 kill. Dennis, all on him. Down to 1 HP. I think this one's over as well. He'll grab the silenced USP, see what he can do with it. If he somehow miraculously one-taps all 3 of them, fair enough. But it's not going to happen. It's going to be Astralis to take the pistol round. So pistols have been split pretty evenly in this series. It's not like one team's been far better than the other, but it's Astralis that takes the advantage. We have seen 2 scenarios in which an eco or a force buy has been effective, so we'll see if Nip wants to go for it. They didn't get a bomb plant, so perhaps they'll think better of it.
Mages with the CZ push nails the pistol, and there will not be a force buy in response. NIP getting the rifles out on the 3rd, and I'm actually surprised to say that Astralis have 1 rifle here. 4 SMGs, 3 of which are MP9s. Really have seen the MP5 drop off this tournament, barely anyone using it. It's the MP9, it's the cheapest of the SMGs, and sometimes the most effective of his mobility, as Mages will be pushing in towards second middle. Hello. There's the first player spotted, and the second, but this might become a little bit more problematic now, but as you can see how mobile that weapon is, that's excellent from Mages. That's $1,200 in the bank for him. Great aim there. Even better movement as Dupree will check the underpass out and be taken down. The P250 actually meets him. They're maybe being a little bit too aggressive at this point, but they're trying to find the cash with those SMGs, and that actually just gives them a rifle for the next round. So maybe not the worst death to concede, considering the AKs are coming out in full force for round number 3.
Good play from Get Right. Pistol absolutely stuns Magisk and now brings us level on 3s. Get right takes significant damage for it. He's on 19. Rez not much better off, but bomb in hand, chance to plant, and guns in the third. That's already a guarantee. This just strengthens the buy in the next round. More so, it'll force reinvestment from Astralis, leaving them perhaps even on the weaker hind leg. Device does get right down with ease.
That's a nice shot. It's going to be just res. To be fair, the damage has already been done. That's pretty much all they are aiming for. A couple of kills. That's actually pretty successful, all things considered. It's one of those rounds where you're just waiting to see what happens. If the CTs allow you to get a couple of kills, that's great. As you said, it weakens them up and maybe allows you to force an eco if you can win that first gun round. They might get a bit more out of this as well. Device, a little bit awkward on the timings, but he should be able to find both of these kills. No problem. Lovely shot there to finish things off. No bomb part, of course, but a couple of kills found. That makes things expensive, at least for Astralis, but the orb comes out for Device. So now they are going to have that advantage, of course. NIP certainly can't bring that weapon out, as they'll have to have 5 AKs. They've got basic utility as well, but they actually have a very strong fighting chance here. As we head into round number 3, you can see 2 SMGs still up. It's going to be Mages, the MP9, and Glaive with the UMP. We'll see Zipex challenging as usual, but this time not successful. Glaive now just with the UMP, flashes over the nade, not doing any damage. He knows his players on the other side, and all he can do really is try and buy himself some time and try and pick up that M4. Oh my god, what?
Oh. Tweet that one, Nico.
We were all thinking it.
Glaive just absolutely nails it to get the shot onto Rez. He's going to be forced out from behind the barrels as the Molotov spreads. He was just thinking about going there, so perfect timing on that Molotov, but he'll back off, no problem. No harm, no foul. Mid for Dennis, swings out, checks inside of the boiler room. Meanwhile, crossfire set up for Device and Dupree. They'll play off of each other. They don't have a lot of information to work around, but they do have Glaive still holding off on the arch side as well, so the wrap is going to be held off potentially by UMP. Sees the shoulder, fires back into it. Dennis down. That's 2 kills for the UMP, in fact. For Glaive. Now it's Dupree in question. Molotov's in front of him. Do spread slightly. He's got to go around and go to the small pit, changing his angle. It's actually just baiting them toward Device. Dupree. What's he done? His Molotov kills him. That is a true 1G. As Device still has the AWP. Thankfully, Glaive's up to the task of rotating and Get Right. Great shot. Glaive's only got the UMP and he's down to 67. Get Right's on 30 and it's Magisk wrapping around from mid that will take him down.
A little bit scrappy there at the end. With Get Right taking down Device, Dupree burning himself. But it's absolutely fine. They win the round, and I think it's an eco here. But this shot, especially Glaive, my goodness. The fact he recovers that situation after Zipex went down, he actually gets a couple of frags with the UMP, and that's Dupree. Okay, unfortunate. Flames spill over to his position, and he will be dropped. As Get Right got a nice shot there, but it will be 3-0. A partial buy coming from NIP as the loss bonus racks up. It'll be maximum next round. Oh, Device. He spots one, but doesn't have to repeat that. He's already been tagged up. Don't want to risk it. He's confirmed they're at least on pistols, and he can fall back to more defensive position.
Forrest gets some shots inside of the hallway, but no one there to receive them. So 3-0 for Astralis on Inferno. CT side as well, just to note, they've had a lot of troubles on the CT side. It's often that we see them having these miraculous comebacks when they go to T, so this is a great start for them. Perhaps foretelling of the troubles NIP may have on this map. Back to pistols this time. Be a max loss bonus at the end of this round. Everyone's very quiet out there, Henry.
It is quite ominous.
It's a well-behaved crowd. Don't ruin it, I'll send you to your room. Zipic's waiting. In some of the position at CT as well, I think he's anticipating a smoke to go down. He wants to play on the off angle of it. They don't even go, they just go straight toward him. That's too easy. Zipic's just sprays in, finds 2, and it'll be followed up by Glaive, who gets 2 more. Making a 3rd as he spots Get Right just on the edge of the smoke, and it's now 4-0 for Astralis.
Very comfortable procedure there. Astralis do get their 4th round on the board. That was the partial buy from NIP. Not really much gathered though, no plant once again. They actually haven't had the bomb down at all in this half so far, but very early days. As we said, Astralis considered one of the world's best on this particular map. They're very well versed in it. As we get into round number 5, that man in particular is a bit of an Inferno specialist, I would say. As we get into the next gun round, it's his maximum loss bonus now. After losing the pistol, we're going to have 3 players towards B. As Per tradition, we'll have those incendiaries deployed, and then the follow-up HEs. You can see damage being done to Forrest. It forces out a smoke out of his back pocket. And here come the grenades. Look how successful they are as well. Forrest, you're going down surely. 1 HP, and Zipex will seal the deal. Run all you can, but they're always going to find you. It's going to be a 5-on-4. Forrest 0 and 5, and that's exactly what you built up in the pre-game map. These nades from Astralis are so deadly.
Oh, insane. It's just like, I mean, the timing of them, they just absolutely destroy anyone in Banana. And the thing is, they use them so well that it actually gives them Banana control just from the thought of them. Teams don't want to dwell around that tree position because they just think they're going to get airstriked out of there.
Oh, device. Such a smart play.
How do you, yeah, you're on stilts, you go top triple to hit that shot. That's pretty clever. Get Right's never going to have crosshair placement on that. Oh, I thought it was Zipex. Device actually got that, in fact, both of them from the other side. Zipex certainly could see like the assist on it. Rez gets one back at least, thankfully, for NIP. Something to write home about, but they keep 4 alive on the Astralis side. Now the 5th round, and the money starts to build as a result of that.
This is the boost from Device. Lovely stuff. He knew there was presence towards quad. He saw the Molotov thrown from that position. Continues to find every single shot. He was a little bit quieter than usual on train, but it looks like he's roaring now on Inferno as he finds, what was that, his 7th kill as we've going into the round number 6. So he's doing a great job here. Oh my goodness, it looked like that was going to connect. It's another partial buy for the Ninjas. Remember, they haven't planted the bomb once yet. So it's always going to be a little bit difficult, even with the maximum loss bonus, to consistently purchase into it. They've got CZs, a couple of smokes here, 1 Deagle. And it's in the hands of Lekro, though. One of the scariest Deagle players on the planet right now as they go towards the arch side. They're going to have to run the gauntlet through the flames, and Dupree just mows them down. No problem whatsoever. That's going to be round confirmed. It's just up to Get Right as to whether he can get a single kill. He gets a dink. And Glaive goes down to 1 HP with the flames, but he will survive.
He will indeed. 6-0 though. This is starting to get ugly for NIP. Back to the guns this time as that bonus is still in effect, and no bomb plants in all 6 rounds. I mean, that's pretty telling in itself. You can't get any access anywhere on Inferno. Usually we call this the perfect decider map because everyone plays it, but right now NIP seemingly showing a lack of depth because they need to very least get some bombs down. Forrest will start it off. He gets played. Banana control. So we talked about the nades, the thought process of not wanting to stick around by the tree. Well, they bypass that. They get aggressive, and by killing them before the nades are thrown, there's 1 less to be thrown, so now they can actually sit and dwell in Banana.
What?
Zipex just destroys Forrest. Wow.
Why do they keep getting so many kills through the smokes after everything that's happened?
I know, right? It's like, this is the worst time to get kills through smokes, lads. You just giving the people with pitchforks and the conspiracy theory tinfoil hat Reddit nerds more to cry about.
Unbelievable. Oh my goodness, he had a chance for another, but Magisk will go down. The rotation's required now, as NIP don't commit. Zipex will rotate back in, a 3-on-2, the first advantage NIP have already had. Remember, not a single plant as of yet. Dupree looking to find Get Right, he's just beneath him. So close, but Get Right, I said his awareness and positioning has been excellent this tournament. He hasn't been the flashiest moments, but he's played great Counter-Strike in general as he keeps checking out the apartment position. You can see he's very aware of the prospect as he takes Dupree down. Lovely work. That should be the round. The fact they get the kill on that side of the map, they can pretty much confirm that A will be open. There's no way B would just be left with no one there whatsoever. So Zipex now on the hunt. Can he catch him before he gets towards top of middle? Certainly can. Nails the shot on Rez. 2 versus 1. The Clutch Minister making his way around towards top of middle. He's got presence towards Arch though, and I'm sure he won't be aware of it. It's going to be Get Right to finish things off. Great shot and positioning towards second middle, and he closes out the round as well. It's the first on the board for NIP, but only 2 players survive. That means they've lost the lost bonus at this point, as Forrest getting the initial kill as Glaive pushed through. And this was the kill from Zipex, just unbelievable that he gets that cleanly. But Get Right, like I said, finishing things off. Lose this round, NIP could be a double eco on the cards, so need to try and convert this one. 1 more round will break down the money of Astralis. They send 3 players towards B at the start, negating the grenades. Forrest will have to extinguish the flames once again, taking heavy damage. We'll go 1 and 7 at this stage. Incendiaries still being exchanged as it looks like Zipex and Glaive want to try and retake the banana position. They've got smoke down towards T-steps. Flashes and presence now as they spray towards the T-steps area. No real damage inflicted just yet.
Keep in mind that Zipex as well still has a smoke. So even if they don't want to or successfully retake Banana, they do have at least some more defense on that side of the map. So with a minute left and a rotation back over in that direction, they'll be able to buy a lot for Astralis on rotations. They seemingly are comfortable, though, to let Xyp9x anchor alone. Glaive's already on the move, going back in the other direction. So anticipating with the slight utility usage on A that that's where it's going to end up. 51 seconds now. Smoke down toward Cubby. That confirms suspicions. Bomb still dropped at top of alt middle as well, which means it's absolutely got to go to A at the time. They're not going to be able to really do much else with it. I say it, that's exactly when they decide, but Xyp9x locks them. They're going to run out. There's no way they can get to a site at this point. They have to pretty much overwhelm Glaive and run directly onto B to make this work, and he's still sitting behind the smoke that was deployed. He's come back around. Magisk has Lekro. I think hesitation's going to cost NIP here. Oh, slow reactions from Glaive. Dennis gets the shot off. Now we've got a chance on it because they actually were confident to leave him, but no smoke, and Xyp9x has the angle. Yeah,
they've got nothing left. This is a nightmare. Yeah, Xyp9x just absolutely wrecks them there. Brilliant aim, very calm, and you could see, just as they committed, I could see it all building. I was like, how are they actually going to get to the site here? Sure, they've taken Glaive down, no problem, but what do you do after that? It's going to be 7-1, and that's the disastrous reset there for an IP. They're going to get $1,900 next round. They might as well, to be fair, they could get AKs and armor with a full eco here, so that's okay. Rez will be the new one who's suffering, so might have to be on Khalil, but actually, it's not as detrimental as I thought it would be. A bit more money than anticipated, so it's going to be Dupree now looking towards second middle, not necessarily looking for frags. If you see the way he jumps across, he saw 2 or 3 players, you can at least confirm it's not a banana push. You guys can go assert your dominance on that side of the map.
So Dupree sits the atrium, he'll fall off of it. Device destroyed. Dupree makes up for it. He gets both Lekro and Dennis. That was a great shot from Lekro on the deagle after baiting out the op. And Dupree's not done there. He'll find a third. He's at 2 rounds with 3 kills, giving him his 6th total, believe it or not, and his 7th as well. So all 7 kills over 2 different rounds for Dupree. That says something, and the fact that it's still 8-1 after the reset for Astralis, this is getting pretty grim for NIP.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? 8-1 down, but they do have enough for AKs once again. But all of these buys have been very weak. They've won a single round so far. Galore for Rez, as mentioned, but you can see they've got absolutely no utility. A couple of smokes between Rez and GetRight, that's about it. Dennis with just a flashbang. Gonna be relying on brute force here. As Device gets full vision of the T steps, he knows there's not gonna be an AWP on the T side. Grenade, actually not as effective as it looked. And the default continues. They've got no presence towards Banana whatsoever. That means they have to actually commit to this in the next 10, 15 seconds at the very most. They're going to have to go through smoke as well. They don't know what's coming behind them. This is actually a little bit of a nightmare. That's why they're trying to get out of the end of the apartments right now, get right in position, waiting for the smoke to dissipate and see if he can come out on top. Oh my goodness, this is scary. Will he come through? Looks like he will. And it's have to be a jumping kill, and he nails it somehow.
Dupree does get back the kill in their favor, but it's traded again as Glaive gets Rez, Dennis gets Glaive. Still then the man advantage to NIP. Device in the side, close proximity makes it work on Forrest. It spots the jumping Dennis to find an angle, nearly gets a third, fires through the wickets, unfortunately, of Lekro. He now has a chance to potentially punish him for that, but it's Xyp9x to arrive, 9-1 Astralis.
You can see what it means to Magisk as well. What a clinic Device is putting on today. That was fabulous. As he holds strong on the A side, it looked like they were done for. The pincer was too much, and GetRight with a jumping kill as he bayonets Magisk in the pit, but Device so aware, and it's that pixel. He sees the player crossing over. He saw the bunny hop from Dennis, repositions, takes him down, and buys enough time for his teammate to rotate in through the smoke. It's 9-1, and there's more pistols for NIP. They just can't catch a break here in the 3rd and final map.
Waiting for a chance, Device, to get that shot toward the underpass. Tough target to fire at. To make it work for us. Speaking of targets, has an easy one on Dupree, running and gunning, CZ. And he's going to continue up the hallway toward Magisk, who's got to be very careful here. Just throwing a smoke means the gun's not ready. Forrest is aware of that situation and capitalizes. But they don't account for Device. Glaive covers off Lekro at Arch. Device can't quite reset in time to get Dennis, or at least not with the muscle memory of aim. It's down to a 2-on-2. Gun picked up. Dennis still has an M4 to work with. They can open up the map potentially. Big rotation would be required for that ball. We go back down through out middle, but they're going to go toward the site. Dennis has been holding it perfectly. He finds Xyp9x on a headshot, and Glaive, sure that the bomb has not yet been planted, Thinks he's got time to rotate around behind because he suspects with Dennis being where he is, the bomb will go that direction. That's how you're going to play it with 2 men remaining, and he could actually one-up them with his positioning inside of apartments, more so because they just came from there. He should be good, I'm going to say, for at least 1 here. The question is, how close together are they, and how fast can they trade back the angle? He hits res, they're both low. M4 is going to have something to work with, but he's a little bit worried about Pit beside him, flashes himself out, jumps down. He's got time to work because he's got a kit nade. That should be enough for res. Bouncing back it is, and he'll start searching desperately to find Dennis, and he looks the right way, spots him low HP. Glaive's got it, 10 for Astralis.
What an absolute genius play there from Glaive. He saw it was so methodical. Every process was just perfect. The fact he gets that long flank towards apartments, he didn't anticipate that whatsoever. He smokes down towards the apartment ledge. He flashes himself out. He knows he's done damage to res on the bomb side, follows it up with the HE, and another clutch in the bag there for Astralis. People talk about Zipex all the time, but on Inferno, Glaive is one of the absolute best in those sort of situations. You couldn't have played that better if you tried. Unbelievably good. Comfortable defuse as well. They get a plant down, but NIP, they'll be gutted at that. That should have been theirs in the 2-on-1, but they get absolutely schooled by Glaive. As we take a tactical timeout here, we'll have a look at the frag charts at this point. We can see Device and Glaive at the very top. Fantastic to see that. If those two are fragging on Inferno, you know things are going very well indeed. And not really the same story for NIP. We've got 3 kills on Forest, who was electric on train, and Rez and Electro with the same numbers. It really isn't looking good. 10-1 down. They need at least 3 rounds in, Matt. At least.
Oh, at least. Astralis, we said it as well. They're famous for making comebacks on the T side, so they're just making life easy at this point. Molotov from Rez. He still wants to sit in the corner. A dangerous game to play against Astralis for that reason. Nade bounces in. Rez down to 62, and the second one follows up. Flash as well. I'm not lying. Don't play there against Astralis. That corner gets absolutely bombarded. You've almost, like we saw with Forrest when he ran up to take the kill on Glaive that round, you've almost got to just run up and take the fight while you know they're going to have nades in their hands. Or just give it up, get back, take it at a later date. Post-dated check. Molotov goes down top side, Banana Glaive Device. Meanwhile, back over toward the top of mid, but Glaive's still sitting back. They've gone far more passive this time, and this is sort of what I was implying, where you can definitely take it late. Look at this setup. Yeah,
we've seen this before from Astralis. It's an off angle with a little stack behind it as well. You can see if a T swings out, sure, he might get 1 kill, but he's definitely not going to find both. As we'll see if this is going to be effective. 40 seconds remaining. Zipex feels like it's going to be an A attack. He'll drop his smoke for his teammate. Device will stay in. The flames are actually behind him, so he's got a free kill. That's so well played and so unfortunate, as he wants another as well, but doesn't fancy that. Looks like the banana split will be coming in, but Glaive 1 step ahead of the curve. But Electro finally showing us what he can do with that AK. Zipex has to be aware of CT spawn now. 20 seconds remaining.
Zipex is alone inside of the ruins, cuts it off. Drops the 1 on the wrap. Now he can focus inside of the site.
Oh, that incendiary.
On top of the bomb. Forrest, he has to bail on it. He can't plant it. 9 seconds. He's down to 9 HP. Rounds over. Bombs on the ground. That's a well-thrown bit of kit.
That is Counter-Strike poetry. How has he pulled that one off? So well done. You can see they've got all these tricks, all these setups. They save the grenades until they absolutely need them. 10 seconds remaining, and Zipex with the godlike play throws the incendiary on the default plant position and roasts Forrest alive. He has to drop down and can't plant the bomb, taken down by the follow-up, and it's 11-1. We did say Astralis are considered one of the best in the world in Inferno, and you can see why. Just an epic performance here. There's nothing you can do to stop them by the looks of things as they smoke towards T-steps here. Forrest again looking to sit in the flames or have to push forward and sit in the smoke at this point. Don't worry, we'll be okay. Just to keep you on your toes.
It's fine. The simulation's got a glitch. We didn't miss it. Well, okay, we missed 1 kill. It's fine.
Back, please. There we go.
Bit of gun juggling going on over at B, if I'm not mistaken. I saw an AK down despite that there's no one else there. Maybe they were just taking back the M4.
Oh, that nade is brutal.
We missed that little detail during our momentary lapse. Nade is brutal. Lycro's going to go back around towards mid. They won't be. They're going to have to go late again. Molotov on the site. That's fair play, but it's irrelevant because it's back to Banana. Now we'll see it work. Maybe this time. It reminds me, although it's only 2 people, sort of the Virtus Pro cobblestone mid-doors. When you walk out, there's 4 people on the line. Oh, the exact moment they think it isn't going to happen, it does. Get right, gets one, but look at the lineup. Oh, goodness, Glaive almost got a third. Electro pulls it back. Time to plant. No, not with Device on the case.
Too good. Glaive is just playing out of his mind right now. I did say I consider him to be an Inferno specialist, but I didn't expect this level performance. We are 14 rounds in, or 13 really, and he's got 15 kills to his name, finding clutches all over the place. The bomb's only been planted once, I believe. And NIP, I'm afraid this one feels like it might be done already. Astralis is putting on an absolute clinic in Counter-Strike here. This is just perfection. As they force buy into this, they got 1 smoke in their force buy map. It's really not looking good. Inferno, you need the utility to operate with.
Dennis working back down the stairwell, door to boiler. Magiscardi being very, very passive, has both angles to watch. At least he gets Dupree closer, Device as well. That AWP is very sharp today as he gets Get Right, Device to get Lecro. Steals it out from underneath Magiscu. Seeming to get by a kill in this round. He's done a ton of damage. The nade might collect one as they jump inside of the site. Device needs to be aware of that fact. And this does indeed collect. As Device goes to the pistol, it's all under res. 1 on 3. And Astralis looking at a 13-1 scoreline.
He can do it though. Rez in position with Device looking awkward. This can absolutely happen. Magus now 1 versus 1. Rez has looked so good on Trent. I think he's going to pull this one off, Matthew. He absolutely does. Finally, a lifeline there for NIP. As Rez finds his 7th kill after getting a 4K there. That really was touch and go, but I could see the build-up at this point. It was Device, because he was so low next to him. I knew he had a pistol at this point. He had to reload that AK, and Rez, oh my goodness, that's a beautiful shot. We said at least 3 rounds. That's still on the menu here. It can happen.
Well, that's 2. Good play from Rez. Magist did so much damage in the pit. Comes down to him in the 1-on-1. Pre-fired the box. Pretty much sealed it. As that was all Rez needed as an invitation to get back around the corner. Dupree, bottom side of the bench, will easily able to spot out Dennis, but unfortunately can't really cover a 90-degree window all at once, so Lecro gets an easy trade onto him. A-side player down. Get Right's aware of that. We'll start to be a little curious toward the boiler position if they can dissect exactly how the transition occurs after losing that man. Similar situation, by the way, crouch angle again, but this time outside of the site. So another off angle with 2 men there, but every time they've gone to it, they seem to move just when it might come to fruition.
Well, still 1 Molotov remaining for NIP. They won the previous round, sure, but that 1 player surviving has made things very difficult for them. It was a massive 1-on-3 clutch just to find them a 2nd round. Device spots another, surely he gets traded out here. Oh, Lecro. You hate to see that, as Magus will find the bomb towards Quad. Device repositions. He's been an absolute monster so far. He hits the shot. Is he going for the knife? What's going on here? It's going to be down to Rez and another 1-on-3. This time he can't pull it off. 13-2 on one of those 1-on-3 clutch that shouldn't be going in NIP's favor. Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, and a clinic from Device on 21 kills with the 8 WP. You mentioned it as well, Glaive playing very smart over on B. Sits on 15, he's the next in line, but it's 3 rounds to go and 3 rounds only, and Astralis will have a berth in the final that will be played tomorrow evening against either MIBR or North. They're coming up just after this.
That's going to be a good game, actually.
The real attraction, though, we've got the desk after this game. Don't miss those guys. Freya as well. Paul is coming up a little bit later on.
More skits perhaps as well?
Yeah. Figure out who the hell killed Chad Birchill.
Well, who's Red's going to kill? He'll be at the top of B right now as Astralis position himself in a little stack here. Are they anticipating a push? If they were, they would be in prime position to shut it down. That's Magus and Glaive. They've got a smoke, a Molotov. Suggest they go towards B, the fact they have 2 smokes, and Get Right gets the first. Can Rez join the fragging responsibilities? He can't just yet, but they have got the advantage. 4-on-3, they obviously need this pistol, but Dupree's been so efficient throughout this series, with the Glock especially. He has looked deadly. And the bomb waits towards T-steps, and now what's the final call here from Astralis? 1 player waiting at B for an IP, that's going to be Rez on 38 points of health. Lecro, surely. Oh, that movement, there it is, it comes through, lovely shot, and that should funnel them towards B now.
Bomb already at the top side of B could actually get in with 1 kill and get a plant quickly, so they wouldn't have to wait for that second man, although they want to for the take. Xipix gets there, right, spots, falls, and 38 HP doesn't really have a chance to continue fighting aggressively. Coffins would give him a headshot angle, but the smoke now on top of it means no chance he can do anything with it. As the bomb is planted, Xipix will climb up on top of Orange's one. Made some noise in doing it, but not checked, as Lekro couldn't find a way to see about the smoke. 100 HP for both players on Astralis' side. With that bomb in their favor, they can certainly set the crossfire. Lekro, he's got Xipix. That was a good try. Device baits, gets the aggro. He tries to peek out. Now Device has problems. 15 HP stuck at Emo. Surely he'll go down, but he's got the first kill. Chance to reset for the second, but Lekro's got him.
The bomb planted, the 3-on-2 not working out there for Astralis, but will they force buy in the second round? It's certainly an option. I don't think they will, but that's going to be Rez. Actually doing a very good job. Didn't find all the kills, but he delayed them for as long as he possibly could, and didn't overcommit. This was a great shot by Lekro. This round could have fallen apart. dupreeh was in the mix there as he manages to find the penultimate frag and close things out as well. So there you go. It's going to be 13-3. The long road begins. And just to note, Astralis, have a look at what they've got. A little surprise in store for an IP. The AK's out in the hands of Device, and he's looking for that opening kill and trying to shut down any CT aggression here.
Yeah, right, little lob nade into the corner. That's his way of going about things. That wall has to have one of the most amount of shrapnels in it of anywhere in Counter-Strike. So deep smoke again. Double flash, clear all of the angles. Banana now is controlled for the moment because they have relinquished and fallen back. Can the force buy yield? They've got lots of time to recover from it if it doesn't work out for Astralis. Up. Quick shot as soon as they arrived in that position as well, because GetRight's tagged down at 38. GetRight backs off underneath Orange's two. Oh, they wanted perfectly to set up Rez to take the aggro. GetRight swinging around, gets found by dupreeh. Rez still clotheslines dupreeh, however, but it's all to play for. AK still in the hands of Device as well as the bomb gets closer and closer to being planted, but they've got to watch the flank. Dennis is there. Famos, Magisk can't really take the fight at range, so uses utility to try and contain him. It's the best they can hope for while that bomb finally gets put in position. And Magisk has managed to sneak up behind the half wall.
Yeah, that's so sick. Dennis won't have any idea this has happened. He still thinks he's on the corner here, but he was flashed for a second, so I assume he checks it. Not quite, but Magisk doesn't nail the shots, and it will be a 3-on-2 as the retake begins. Headshots required from this AK. Device will find the first. He needs it back up from his teammate, or maybe not. Comes down to the 2 versus 1, but Lekro will take them both down. They tried to double stack towards that Emo position and try and suggest there's only one player there, but it doesn't work out at all. Lekro, he's seen that old trick before, and he will win a very important round, though. But the fact the bomb gets planted there, Matt, and it comes down to a 1v1, I would not be surprised if Astralis force bought into this one. You can see about $3,500, so it would be a couple of AKs, Galils, and SMGs here. They're definitely going to go for it. They know if they can just win one of these rounds, it completely breaks NIP. So there it is, 2 AKs, 1 Galil, 2 UMPs, and they actually have a pretty compelling chance here of taking this round. So close there.
Double nades, getting creative with their own versions, knowing that the banana was clear. That's the next position, but look at Astralis. They were sitting so far back that even when you'd expect them to be on the stairs in that scenario, they weren't leaving themselves susceptible of either a pick at the top of mid or the nades. Buy back into it by way of bomb plant brings out the 2 AK-47s. And a plethora of weapons to go along with it. Sklave sees enough to fire at, but Rez isn't going to play that game. Down to 55, though, did take some damage on the exchange. Rez works his way over the sandbags, fires toward the coffins, gives the bomb back over to Magisk, and then can stick around to try and go into combat, but Rest of the team searching the A site. Very forward stance at the mid wall for both Dennis and Lekro. Lekro's going to see if we're going to boiler first. Good shot to the first one. Dennis nearly finds two, but they had time to reset and they looked back, Glaive with both kills.
But Forrest is the one who's alive on the A side, Matt. We know how good this guy is. He knows he has to find multiple kills here, and he's certainly capable of doing it, but the flashbang is so brutal. This is do or die time now for NIP in a 4-on-2. They'll have no money left and be 14-4 down in the third and final map against the world's best here. They just might have to save these SMGs. I think that might be the only option here. They can get AK, that's great. Oh, maybe a bit more. Get right, might have found them a window. Upgrades to the Galil after taking down Glaive here. Drops a smoke, but it looks like this is over. They can't really justify going for this one. They might as well save a rifle and have some sort of a chance to stay alive here.
So Astralis going to get 14. 10 more than that of Nip.
Ouch.
And that's even worse because they can't get right away with the weapon res. Gonna have the only SMG. Only injects $1,400 into their pockets as well, so have to sit tight with what they have. This could be map and series point for Astralis. Pretty swift from Glaive. All day long he's looking pretty sharp.
That flashbang from Mages, that's what wins the round just there, because Forrest, we know what he's capable of. Flashbang in, couldn't be better placed, and they have to force buy. 14-4 down, CZs and UMP. They managed to do this on Nuke before, remember, to keep themselves in the game, so let's see if they can replicate that success. Great utility usage at the start. Getright's going to follow it up with a kill by the looks of things, but he's struggling. Didn't see it from his POV, but we did see Mages, 2 kills to his name, as he homes in on series point, looking to book themselves a place in the grand final here. It's now 5-on-3. Lekro, Dennis, and Forrest. With it all to play for, they can't really justify saving weaponry here. There'll be absolutely nothing left for what could be the final round, as they send 3 players towards B, hoping that's where Astralis will finish up. Device spamming the barrels, just confirming that no one's here, and he'll spot one in the corner. Oh my goodness, and take him down in a beautiful fashion. 5-on-2, that's series point confirmed, Matt. That's...
Yeah, no question about it. There's nothing these pistols can do. Bombs over toward A if they really wanted to walk in and find out it's completely open, but Device has other ideas. Jumping shot as he reloads behind D-box. Does get traded by Dennis. That's an AK at least for the CTs, but I think he'll be looking to save that AK for good reason. They're going to need it to try and force overtime. They're going to need 11 rounds just to do that.
Yeah, and in terms of loss bonus, they've got second stage. So that's $1,900 per player in the next round, and that's if Dennis survives. They'll have 1 AK and maybe some SMGs to work with here. He'll tuck himself, but he's not surviving this. No way. Dupree will take him down. And that's 15-4. Like you said, 11 rounds in a row, and it begins with this one. You got $2,000 per player.
Yeah.
It really couldn't be worse right now.
No. No, that's not a position I would want to be in.
Definitely not. That is rough. Well then, it feels like we have our first grand finalist. But NIP will do everything they can with the Eagles. Remember, we do have North MIBR after this one, which is actually a really compelling matchup, and that's a compelling shot as Lekro will open things up. We know his Deagle is fantastic, and he demonstrates it with a nice sort of one-tap there towards the bottom of the middle.
Brilliant shot. Molotov, top of Banana Res, meanwhile. Has the smoke at the ready. They'll try and buy some time with this. The CTs need all the time in the world to go in their favor. Minute 22, no weapons on this side. Get right, I take that back as the UMP, excuse me, but no rifles, that's for certain. Res is the only kit as well, just to note. Should we get that far, should it be required. Looking to boost him up. He'll have the CZ to complement that of Get Right. Come on, Dennis, stand up. Will the real Dennis please stand up?
Embracing that Slim Shady haircut of yours?
Yeah, you know what? It's the hair.
Yeah. Well, here we go then. The final play, potentially, of this series. Sure, NIP have the lead right now, but they do not have any rifles. With 3 players towards the B side, though, there could be a chance here. Good boost. Get Right will get Another frag. They actually still have a fighting chance here. The Eagles doing what they can, but will they check the boost? Absolutely not. Rez lighting them up. They've got a chance. NIP will live to fight another day, it seems, unless Glaive can pull something monstrous out of the hat here. He collects the bomb. AK in hand, smoke goes down, and he's gonna have 2 players in spawn. Oh my goodness, he actually kills the first and tags up Rez as well. But 15 seconds remaining suggests this should be done.
Smoke though, he's got another one, which means he can pretty much confirm the plant. They can't push through to deny this. He gets a chance to set it up. Flash through, he's expecting a push, they're not there. And they are gonna spray it! Oh, they nearly lined up for him. Forrest on 34, Rez was just behind, but NIP will get a 5th.
They will, and they'll get 2 AKs for it as well, but 10 rounds in a row against Astralis on Inferno, where their T side is actually a little bit scarier than their CT. Still a long way to go. They won't be fist bumping just yet, I don't think, as we'll see what happens in the next round. Number 21 here. Money available in buckets and spades there for Astralis. We're going to have 4 AKs coming out. Will there be any sort of AWP purchase? I don't think so, considering Zipex has only got 5k. He would actually sacrifice his own armor if he bought the orb. So, NIP. Decent attempt there. It's always the way it goes down with NIP. They seem to always keep themselves in a map with a CZ round.
Well, that's a start. One piece at a time. Nade out from device. Goes just over top of get right, but it's sufficient in doing damage. A second one to follow that up will put him down to a fraction. 53. Tries to spray back into it. They do have device tagged up on 20, so in that direction would take him out. Dennis is going to start it. 2 pre-falls. It's at the boiler door. Zipex jumps away from that position as a result of it. No teammate to work with, no point in working it at all. Let's get back together, regroup. Glaive's got a shot. He's opened up on Rez. It's on to get right. Remember, he was already tagged. Weakened up. Whoa, just missing on device. That 20 HP nearly taken from him, and Glaive's got get right again as they work back in. Incendiary through. Lekro flashes out. Glaive's got him as well. That's 3 kills for Glaive.
Yeah, what a beast. He is definitely the MVP of Inferno. As Device, to be fair, 28 kills. He'll be in the conversation as well. But now a 4-on-2. Dennis and Forrest, they have got kits. They've got a couple of smokes, but 4 kills to find and a bomb to defuse. On the B side of Inferno, I'm sorry, I'm not convinced this is going to happen, as Zipex should confirm that fact. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Your first grand finalist will be Astralis. Dominant performance there on Inferno. As we see, it goes 16-5. I have to say, Device and Glaive peaking in the 3rd and final map there, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. Glaive looking absolutely incredible toward Banana throughout the entire game in both directions. 3 kills this round, and 16-5 is convincing. Launder said it. He didn't think there was any chance Niv could put up a fight against Astralis on Inferno, the Inferno that they bring to the table, and he was right. They were better off on Nuke than they were here, as it seemed. They just couldn't get any map control. They couldn't get anything working for them.
Yeah, no one seems to be able to decipher the Astralis CT side code, especially 13-2, and one of those was a 1-on-3 clutch for Rez as well. Those two pretty great performance throughout, as we'll see him go through to the grand finals tomorrow. But the question is, who will be joining them, Matt? We've got MIBR and North. Who do you fancy in that?
I'm not sure who I fancy. I think MIBR is looking the best they have in a long time, so something wants to lean to that side, but
sure.
North's recovering on a resurgence. They obviously went through the group. They beat NRG, who was red hot yesterday, so that's no easy task either. That could be an absolute banger. I think that could be another 3-mapper.
Well, that'll be coming up after this one. Excellent series there. Congratulations to Astralis. Commiserations NIP. They put up a great showing on Train. This is a team, as we always say at this stage of the year, actually looking pretty decent. They're consistently making playoffs now. Grand finals over in Denmark a few weeks ago, and now making it to the semis of another huge tournament here. It's still positive outcome, right, for NIP. They shouldn't be disheartened by this.
Not at all. No, they're another team that's vastly improving, and I think we're getting to the point again where all of the teams are so close together that we're going to hit a very competitive area in Counter-Strike. A good place to be. Astralis might be winning everything, but everyone's getting closer. That said, we're getting closer to the man with a plan, Paula Gilroy-Sand.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Astralis! Our first finalists here at the ECS Season 6 Finals. How's that sound, Glaive?
Sounds amazing. Like it's an amazing stadium. Our first time playing here. Amazing fans. Everybody in the crowd. Really nice guys. So yeah, we just love it. Actually, we had to use like different TeamSpeak settings because we could hear the crowd so much. They were so loud. So yeah, amazing feeling.
Deve, are you feeling the same energy?
Yeah, of course. It's a pleasure to play in USA and actually have some fans. We've had a few matches where we faced Liquid and haven't had the home crowd. So yeah, we love it. We always love when the fans cheer for us.
You can hear them. You can hear the love. Now, NIP are one of the few teams at the moment that can beat you on certain maps. What was the game plan going in, and why do you think they are that team?
Yeah, so I remember them, they said that they knew how to play against us. I didn't see it on the last map, but I think they played all right. I'm sorry, it isn't it to be mean, but when you say something like that, then you should be better prepared, but I'm really happy we won.
Device, you had a fantastic, this crowd is rowdy. Deve, you had a fantastic series. Were you feeling yourself in particular with the team playing around you at all?
I think that we played like we did in practice, and we always played to each other's strengths. Magisk was really good on Nuke, probably saved that map for us. I think it was a team effort, honestly, and I'm just happy to play with the guys.
And I want to talk about that map specifically. The Nuke streak continues. Why are you guys so good on that map?
Actually, I think NIP is really good on Nuke, and we had a lot of close rounds. I think they actually played pretty good, and if we hadn't won those close rounds, I think it would be a much closer game. So I just think that we're good at like looking through demos against our opponents, see what we can do against it, and we try to adapt all the time about their play style if they come with something new. I think it's all about the adaptation.
Final question is, Deve, tomorrow you'll play either MIBR or North. What do you think of that matchup?
Yeah, I know like MIBR, we've had a lot of close series, lost against them recently, and I think that, honestly, I think they'll win. They're playing really great. Had a bad run at like Copenhagen, but I think that, honestly, they're just on a like nice road to glory. Would like to face them to get a rematch, but North is our Danish rivals, right? And they won against us in the final at Stockholm, so we also want revenge for that game.
Awesome. Glaive, final question to you. We saw recently some conversations online with regards to you and your team, and potentially some detractors out there talking about any tricks you might be using. I was wondering if you'd like to address that on the stage now, live, to everybody at home, the people talking and the crowd.
Yeah, of course, I would like to address it. Like, to believe that we have been working so hard, we have been working so immensely hard to reach where we are now, and to believe that we like used a bug to get here, that's just stupid, because Astralis would never do something like that.
And I think we will leave it at that. Let's head back to the desk.
Some great questions from Parla and some great answers from Glaive and Device, specifically towards the end there as well. It's good to hear it, live and not just in 140 character form on the internet. Joined by Launders and Tommy, residents of the internet as well. And you found the chain. I was worried.
Yeah, it almost got lost. You'd think you couldn't lose something this big, but
you managed it.
Be surprised.
Yeah, no, certainly. And I mean, talking of lost, we did lose the Swedes on our third map, Tommy. That was a bit of an open and shut case. I mean, I don't think there was too much resistance presented by the Ninjas after such a spectacular second map on train.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what we were saying on the desk, right? It's like we just didn't understand why NIP would go for Inferno instead of Overpass, on which they actually have a pretty good record against Astralis recently. And basically, NIP just could not crack Astralis' CT set, and I think a big part of that is whenever they try to control Banana, they just wind up getting picked, and they couldn't control it themselves. They didn't seem to have any specific game plan against Astralis, and if they did, then I think Astralis re-countered it the way they played in this game. So it was just kind of an underwhelming way to close out the series, because I think, like Leif said, Nuke was closer than the scoreline maybe looked. I thought Train was a great game. So it's a bit of a shame that Inferno wound up being so one-sided in the end.
Yeah, it looked really flat on T side, and I think a lot of our analysis was predicated on looking at how NIP played CT side first and foremost. And if they maybe got too wrapped up in that, then they forgot how much they needed, how many premium rounds they needed on T side. Then they end up in a situation where they have to make bad buying decisions because they're so far behind and we don't get to see good rifle rounds from them.
Yeah, we touched on the power of Astralis' CT side. You even touched on the power of their T side. I guess we kind of feel like a bit of a broken record there. But we did suggest that, teams can get locked out by Astralis' defense. And I think we saw a prime example of it here. They're not the first team by any means to fall into that trap. And why are you pointing at that scoreboard, Tom?
3 players.
I'm pointing at the scoreboard because Magisk has half the kills of Device, but more total damage dealt. So if this is correct, that's a huge outlier.
You know what? I'm going to double check that. Let's see if
I think it probably is correct. If Magisk has 11 assists.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Which is outrageous.
Obviously already really crazy.
Magisk did have Yeah. Oh my
15 and
goodness.
11.
15 frags and the highest ADR at 110. He was slaying. Well, no, he wasn't slaying. He was tagging.
Yeah, he was tagging. Yeah.
Not
He
fragging.
was tagging.
Sometimes that's an indicator of like just how maybe you don't have the best crosshair placement in those situations. Like you're doing a lot of damage, but it's too much body damage.
Sure.
And you could be killing them faster by aiming at the head. But Device has also offered up a lot of kills, and sometimes those kills could have been converted if he didn't finish them off. So they're just as important in some ways. But ADR is a superior stat, and everybody knows it.
Everybody knows it. Average damage per round for any of our newer viewers, and we do have a head-to-head for you. Speaking of Magisk, he is featured within it. It's brought to you by Intel, and we do have to take a look at the comparison here. This is for all 3 maps combined, and you can see that, yes, even though he was just 15 frags to the good on Inferno, his average damage per round certainly wasn't slacking, and a solid bit above the average for him across the board.
Yeah, it's true that Magisk was really important on Nuke. I thought one thing that was interesting is the last time they played Nuke, I don't remember, but I don't believe that Magisk ever used the AUG. And there's something that people need to understand is once you get in the server, maybe you don't want to use the AUG, maybe you're comfortable with the M4, but once you hear an AUG on the server, that's when you're the most terrified.
Yeah.
And they know Magisk is the original auger. He's the guy who
The OG,
started it off.
him and Elise.
When it was too expensive, he was still buying it, right? So now that he's brought it back into the fold, and he's got to add another layer to their Nuke when they didn't need it. That
Yes.
must have been terrifying for Nuke.
Something we didn't touch on train was interesting was that Rez was deliberately buying the SG or the AUG. I can't remember which one, didn't know which side he was on. In fact, yeah, it was CT side,
Yeah,
so it was with the AUG. And he was holding it towards Pop Dog. And it was just this, because it is such a narrow angle that scope is truly going to be beneficial. We're going to see more of that, I think, as time goes on, Tommy.
No, I mean, it's obviously a really good weapon, the zoom. If you ascribe any value to having zoom, which I think most people would, then
Yeah.
in some ways it is superior if you do similar damage and the spray pattern isn't too far off. I do think eventually over a long term, maybe the AUG and SIG maybe get, taken down a little bit once more and more people start using them. But
Yeah.
I mean, they're obviously very good weapons, and there's lots of people showing them, including Device, who, like we said, just picked it up during the Chicago Grand Final, now been using it all the time, and he kind of sneakily had a fantastic series. He finished like plus 30 kill death differential
Yeah, I'm
over
really
that
looking forward
semi.
to seeing him and his team do damage in that grand final. We do have the X Factor of the match. Let's have a little look. It's brought to you by HyperX, and we'll find out which of the 10 players in the server have taken this one home. It is over to Inferno, our third map, so one can assume it was that of Astralis. You can see there's a rather frisky scenario over towards Falcon. I'm not sure what this is. I'd love to be told beforehand so I can
Name
work
tag
it
would
out.
be
It was
good. There it
Glaive.
is. Oh, that was a great
1v2.
bank, actually. That was a pull shot right there with the nade on the back of the sight and a clean retake.
Clean work, tags him up just enough for that HE, just perfectly lands at his footsteps. I like that he uses the guise of the smoke as well, just to make sure he can get the perfect position for a safe nade throw.
Yeah, it's super important with the balcony the way it is, that if you throw the smoke, then you have one way to get out and only be spotted from one point of contact. But if you just use the doorway without the smoke down, then you can be spotted from sight, you can be spotted from graveyard, you can be spotted from arch, you can be spotted from pit. So you'll knock out 3 of those spots,
Yeah,
with just one
with the
smoke.
power of a smoke.
Yeah.
$300 well spent, if you ask me. Let's take a look at those brackets, though, because we've got more Counter-Strike, and these fans are chomping at the bit to see more Counter-Strike. They're already filling the airwaves with hype. Yes, so Astralis locked in, and we now have to find out who is going to be meeting them, MIBR or North? Now, that is an intriguing question. The casters and the actual players of Astralis have already thrown their 2 cents into the ring, and I will be picking your brains all about it. Just give us a little something to walk away, Tommy. Why should people stay tuned and look forward to the second semi?
I mean, that's how you decide who's going to be playing in the final.
I asked the wrong person.
I think
Sometimes
it's
we
a,
forget he's finished.
Yeah,
I think that's not a great question, Alex.
No, so here's the thing.
In a long line of good questions that you've had throughout years of doing this, and then
help
this
you out.
happens.
Okay, so
So-
Tommy, just quickly I want to explain. So conversational manner, what happens is I mention
You're talking
Gotta
to
be
a
better,
robot.
Alex.
one
Alex.
facet, one
Gotta be
direction
better.
I'd like you to take it in. I give you a very vague and open-ended question, and that means that you can take it in any direction you choose to.
I can take this
And
out.
this is where I wanted to go this time around.
Interesting choice. Launders, would you like to finish?
Yeah, so for the semifinal, we have 2 teams that I think both feel confident and want to play Astralis. You got the home matchup at North, which is a lot less favored, but because it's a home matchup, I think like Valda, for example, understands Glaive more than anybody else in this entire tournament, so maybe he feels confident versus them. And then we have, I think it's interesting because MIBR have a great chance versus North, but we thought North were going to lose yesterday versus NRG, and they ended up winning that one. So I think this could be a very good grand final.
It could be a very good grand final. It does kind of hinge on North, as you've already highlighted. We're talking all about it after our break. We're going to go take 5. When we do come back, ECS Season 6 will have its grand final locked in. A best of 3 separates us from the top 2 of the tournament. We'll find out MIBR North after this.